of sometimes running an environment like that.
But I mean, here's the thing, because I'll have a little video playing on the in the background, so I'll be watching while I'm typing or something, and it's very handy if you use VLC or any other movie package to be able to put the window as visible on whatever desktop you're on at the time. So unlike the default setting whereby it would only show, say, on desktop 1 if that's where it was opened, you can have it showing on whatever desktop you happen to be. I've yet to notice any sort of performance hit, and I've really tried pushing the machine in the realms of what I want to do with it. I'm probably like everybody else, have very basic needs. I'll have a web browser open maybe with 7 or 8 tabs. I'll have my chat client, IRC chat client up, possibly my email client as well, and at the moment my Amiga emulator running a EUAE, and then I can play a video or play a DVD, and I'm not getting any type of performance hit at all.
Maybe it's being uploaded to your hardware without you knowing about it.
Possibly.
I'm very surprised by the... Sorry.
I was just going to say, I did, cause I was very interested to know what sort of performance hit I would take for trying to max out my desktop, as it were, with a load of applications. Now, my graphics card is very, very poor. It's a shared graphics. It's memory shared with with my main memory. I've got 3 gigabytes of memory, and that's shared with the graphics card. So I'm not running the latest whatever the latest graphics card is. I'm not up on the latest PC cards, but it's a very primitive graphics card in the sense of what's around now. And I mean, apart from sort of slight tearing issues on the movement of the cube, which is natural because I haven't got VSync activated, I know it's very little performance hit at all. If anything, I mean, it's negligible. And that's one of the things that impressed me with Linux from day one. I've tried. It is very, very difficult to actually get your system to noticeably slow down. Unlike other operating systems where you do a couple of tasks and you start chugging along. And I've never noticed any sort of issue like that with any distro that I've ever ran. I don't know what your requirements are, Roy, but I think mine are slightly different because I have from
other... There's potential for improving things quite a bit. One of the things I did yesterday is I was trying to explore and understand better the advantage of using activities as opposed to spreading things across desktops. Because one of the natural things for people who've used Linux for a while was to have different activities assigned to desktops. You have one for browsing and one for development or whatever. And each one of them you will have a workspace, and you will be able to just run between workspaces. You say, I want to browse the web, I want to check email, I want to go back to chat, and you move between them. And I couldn't understand why I would ever need to have this notion of activities and actually move between them. And then it turned out one of the reasons perhaps one of the ways you can justify doing that is to say, well, you have all these open at the same time. You have all these things open and working at the same time. And this is one of the reasons why even myself with 2 gigabytes of RAM, I still struggle in the sense that I have to go to the disk to get some more memory. Occasionally, and this slows things down, so I have to go to disk when I open programs, and everything just kind of behaves a bit oddly once you hit the first megabytes of RAM on disk. So one of the advantages of activities is that you can ensure that when you open an activity, it's going to open lots of programs associated with it. And then instead of opening all the programs you ever use and all the activities at the same time and assigning them to different desktops, what you do then is you define certain groups of applications, and you only deal with the very few that you do at any one time. And once you want to go and do programming or email, you just open a new activity, and then it deals with everything that's associated with it. But for lots of people, I'm not sure this is a very handy tool, and I don't know of any one person so far who's using that. One of the issues KDE had with this new feature is that people would ask, what is this thing? What does it do? It's just confusing me. I don't know what to do with it. And why would I want to use that? So I've been trying to understand, what the reasoning was, what circumstances would give rise to the use of that. And also each iteration, each release of KDE 4, so, KDE the first few KDE releases barely had any of support for this feature, and then the usability and being able to understand and to get around with this feature was extremely confusing at first, so to make it a bit easier to work with now. That's my understanding of it. So,
well, keeping on Linux software for a bit, because I think we've got some main news to hit it a bit later on. We'll just stick with packages for the minute, because I've got a very quick mention of Handbrake. It's currently released its 0.9 version. This is about a year after its last release version. So, for all intents and purposes, for any casual viewer, it looked like the project was dead. We hadn't heard anything for quite a long time, and now it's come back, and in January, so I missed it in January the 3rd, it released 0.9.5. For those that don't know what Handbrake is, quite simple. It's just an encoder, video encoder. It can take video from a DVD, Blu-ray source, and has a multitude of options to what you encode it to. It supports MKV, etc., etc. The website will be linked on the show notes, and it's a fantastic package. Now, before anybody shouts pirate and points the finger, it doesn't support removal of any type of copy protection. This is mainly meant for your videos, your unencrypted DVDs, maybe your home movies that you want to put out into a smaller format and maybe put onto the web. It's a fantastic package, very easy to use. So 0.9.5, you can get it now, and I strongly recommend you have a look in your repos, and or if not, download it off the site. I don't know, Roy, have you ever used Handbrake, or
no,
I've had a look at it?
I've mostly used command line tools to do conversions between formats. One of the things I found out just a few days ago was that I was wasting my time with Animate, which is part of the ImageMagick package.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with a whole bunch of tools for handling images and transforming them. And one of the nice things is where you can actually script things and actually alter images and adding text to them and frames, whatever, from the command line. So you don't actually have to open all of them, that you can give commands and you can script things to do all kinds of stuff. And one of the programs turns out to be capable of just taking a bunch of JPEGs and creating a video out of them, which you didn't know before. And all of these packages also tend to include encoders. So a lot of people will brag about their, that new very fancy package which supports lots of formats and has a nice GUI and takes like a gigabyte of RAM, sometimes when you edit very big video sequences. But even the very primitive tools, or primitive in the sense that they're very atomic or very small and fine and have all kinds of options that might take a while to master, they can allow you to achieve a lot more, especially if you do brute force work. And if you let computers work overnight, processing a video or transforming a video. And if you've ever encoded a video that's like an hour and a half high resolution, it can take many, many hours to do that. So all of these tools, and is Handbrake a visual tool?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Do you know what it uses underneath? It probably is just repackaging of existing packages.
Yes, I think, and I stand to be correct. I think it's more. It does use a package of already existing software, command line software. I think it's effectively a GUI that they've released, which makes it a lot simpler. I mean, I think we discussed before about the command line and how it can put people off and how people think it's more complicated than it actually is. But I personally think for things like this, for me to have a nice easy GUI to use just to fire my video file into is a lot easier. I don't have
it as a service. The nice thing is because everything is based on piping input and output, if you can create some sort of a standard way of handling videos, or in some cases, instead of handling videos, what you do have is an interface for accessing files, or a language by which you kind of pass things around in programs, and the program is just supposed to construct the command for you. Some will actually show you the command as you actually do the GUI stuff. They'll tell you what you're basically doing is constructing this command line, In a case, I'm not sure if does it maybe use FFmpeg, the one you're talking about.
I'm desperately trying to look on the website for that, and the honest answer is I don't know, but I'll try and answer that on the
I've seen